So today I'm going to share with you 6 core skills to become a successful freight broker. Now, there are a lot of skills that you need to develop as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. So this is not an exhaustive list. I picked what I consider to be the top 6 skills that are going to pay the bills, right? That are going to allow you to grow a successful freight brokerage. All right. So let's start at the top. These are in no discernible order, and there's no place to start, but with my favorite skill, number 1, which is sales. You need to learn the fundamental skills of how to sell. Now, there's a lot of components to that. Communications, there's a lot, verbal and written communications. There's learning how to get people's attention. There's learning how to overcome objections. And this all comes down into the sales bucket. But it's a very important skill, because not only will you be selling to acquire shippers, but you will also be selling to acquire carriers that are going to build your network. Sales is that skill that once you learn that skill, I've said this for over 20 years now, once you learn the skill of selling, you can go anywhere in the world, in any industry, and you can make 6 or 7 figures. And that holds true in the freight brokerage or the freight agency business as well. Number 2 is rating. You need to learn how to do rating and provide accurate and effective freight quotes for your prospects and for your customers. Now, rating is one of those skills that's based upon in freight brokerage is based upon understanding the supply and demand of trucks to loads, right? So what is the ratio of trucks to loads in any given market, in any given lane, in any given situation? Now, that's basic economics 101. If there's a lot of trucks and not a lot of freight, then that's going to be very competitive for that freight, and it's going to drive rates down. If there's a lot of loads and not enough trucks, then there's going to be more competition, and the rates are going to go up. So it's basic 101, but there's some fundamentals you need to understand on how to determine what it's going to cost you as a freight broker to move that load from point A to point B, so you can add your markup. So there's some basic frameworks. There's some tools like load boards, obviously. There's different rating tools, but there's really no tool that's better than just having a real conversation with a carrier that runs that lane to understand what the spot market rate is for that day, for that week, for that time period, okay? It's very easy to provide rates that are the most expensive. It's very easy to be the cheapest or the most expensive. The hard part is finding the sweet spot, where you're actually able to make a margin and provide a high level service. So finding that sweet spot where you can make 10 or 15 or 20% margin and still provide good value to the shipper and to the carrier, right? Skill number 3 is dispatching. Now, what I mean by dispatching is after you've covered the load, at some point, the driver is going to have to go into that pickup location and pick up the load, transport the load, and then deliver the load. This is where the service is actually provided. You as the broker don't provide this service. You outsource it to a carrier that you set up in your network, and you guys put a broker-carrier agreement together. And then from there, on the day of pickup, you're going to dispatch the driver into the pickup location. Now, the best practice is I could do an entire training on just dispatching, which I probably should do, or maybe I've already done it and I just don't remember. But yeah, dispatching has a process, right? You need to make sure that the driver's already empty. You need to make sure he has the right hours of service. You need to make sure he's going to be able to make the pickup time, right? And then once he does pick up, you need to make sure that he picked up the right product. Did they load the right product? Does he have the correct a number of hours or times or hours of service in order to get to the delivery location, right? Then you're going to be doing, after you dispatch them, you're going to be doing daily check calls with that driver to make sure that they're on schedule, right? That they're still going to be able to deliver it on time. And then after the delivery, you're going to want to know that the product delivered on time, in good condition, with no problems. There's no claims, no exceptions, no marks on the bill, other than the fact that the receiver signed the bill clean. So dispatching in itself is a very important part, particularly when it comes to delivering a high level of service, right? Number 4, financial management. Now, this is the part that I hate. This is the part that I hated as a broker. I didn't like counting the beans. I don't like invoicing. I don't like paying carriers. I mean, I don't mind paying carriers. I just don't like writing checks or processing ACHs or stuff like that. So the financial management part is a really important management. I was fortunate because I had a partner who did that. I had somebody dedicated who handled the financial management. But it is a very important skill that you need to have in your arsenal. Now, you either need to have that skill yourself or you need to hire somebody to do that. Now, most startup brokers use factoring companies, right? OPM, other people's money, to cash flow their business. So if you have a factoring company, they will do a lot of that for you, but you will still need to be able to do deposits. You will still need to have to pay vendors. You will still need to be able to have a system to make sure that you're paying taxes and that your books are in good order. So basic financial management skills is a skill that you absolutely have to have as any entrepreneur. All right. Number 5, negotiations. Now, negotiations is something that you're going to do not only with shippers, but also with carriers. You're going to have to negotiate terms. You're going to have to negotiate rates. You're going to have to negotiate nuances associated with the service that you're providing. And so negotiating is a skill that you'll need to learn. Now, it's really not that hard, to be extremely honest with you. There's a couple things you need to do. Number 1, you need to listen, right? You need to listen carefully, because if you listen, the other person on the other end will tell you what they need and how to solve that problem. The other thing is you really need to think win-win, because if I win the negotiation, it means somebody else lost on the other side. And if they feel like they lost, at that point, it's going to create friction in that transaction, friction in that relationship. Nobody wants to lose, right? So if you focus on a win-win negotiation strategy, a win-win negotiating style, you'll be surprised at the types of relationships you can develop, long-term relationships you can develop, not only with shippers, but also with carriers. If you take that approach, your business will absolutely thrive. But if you're the type of person who always has to win, right, the negotiation, you're probably going to struggle in business, right? Hard-nosed negotiators are usually not very well liked, and they really have a problem with building long-term business relationships. So win-win negotiations is an important one. And number 6, it should go without saying, but time management. Now, time management is very broad, right? But what you have to understand is you need to understand how to schedule and prioritize your daily, weekly, monthly activities, right, to effectively achieve your goals. So whatever your goals are, you need to be able to work those backwards and prioritize and schedule your daily activities. When am I going to be doing new customer outreach or prospecting for new shippers? When am I going to be doing rate quotes? When am I going to be following up with my other prospects? When am I going to be calling my customers? When am I going to be doing my dispatching or my check calls? When am I going to be doing invoicing and paying carriers? When am I going to be doing the core fundamentals of the freight brokerage? Because again, there's a lot of balls to juggle, but it's really not that challenging once you learn the basic fundamentals of time management. It really comes down, it's really not time management as much as it is priority management. What is the number 1, number 2, number 3 priority in any given day, right? That's what you need to look at. There are going to be days when you can spend 90% of your time selling, but there's also going to be days when you're going to have to spend 80 or 90% of your time servicing, right, the customers by doing all the, providing all the providing quotes and dispatching and doing follow-up and invoicing. So time management, priority management is number 6. All right. So I'm going to run back through those really quick. Number 1 is sales. Number 2 is rating. Number 3 is dispatch. Number 4 is financial management. Number 5 is negotiations, win-win negotiations. And number 6 is time/priority management. So those are the 6 core skills to become a successful freight broker. Now, there's a lot that go into those skills, and it does take time. And here's the thing you need to understand. You're not going to be good at all of these when you first start, nor do you need to be in order to start a successful freight brokerage. But your goal should be to acquire these skills, to be proficient in these skills, and or to hire somebody in that area so that they can handle those core competencies and core skills to help your business thrive. So I hope that helps. If you guys enjoyed this, give me a quick rating from 1 to 10. 1 meaning, hey, Dennis, this sucked. You're terrible. I don't want to ever watch your video again. 10 meaning, hey, I loved it. It was perfect. Please give me more videos. Hit me up in the comments with a 1 to 10 rating. Truly appreciate it. If you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. I've trained over 10,000 students, been in business over a decade, and we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. Again, I do these live trainings every week. We've trained over 10,000 students. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We do these weekly live trainings every Monday at noon. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you like, comment, and share this video. And I'll be back Monday with another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live.